and sisters, friends, enemies, and comrades. I hope you're doing well wherever you are. This is Kenyan Revolutionary for another video. It's Monday, so I hope you're doing well wherever you are, whether you're in office, leaving the office, ready to go home. It's evening or afternoon, lunchtime if you're in Europe, if it's nighttime in, evening time in Kenya. I hope you're doing well. I hope you're doing well. Please, the first order of business is to like the video. Like the video. The first order of business is to like the video. Like, and if it's your first time, please subscribe, share, like, comment, and do all the good stuff as we get started in this discussion today, okay? So immediately get in, the first order of business is to like the video, and then subscribe if you haven't subscribed. If this is your first time, we talk about Kenyan politics and world politics as it relates to Kenya, okay? So I'm going to have a discussion today, just spill something, spit toilet kwa kifua, just briefly. I won't stay here for long today because it's a slow news day, but the day is still bado mambo in still too early. But anyway, guys, what I really want to address today is, as you can see in the topic, are the disputes within the Kenyan oligarchy, dressed up and packaged to the public as political agitation. Again, I will ask, are the disputes within the Kenyan oligarchy being dressed up and packaged to the public as political agitation, okay? What do I mean by this? I know a lot of you guys might be asking, what do I mean by this? I mean this. It seems like within the Kenyan bourgeoisie, the political class, the rich, the 1% of our society, the Kenyan society, okay? The super rich, the Uhuru Kenyatas, the Martha Karuas, the Raila Odingas, the Kalonzo Musyokas, these folks who have been in politics since time immemorial. I'm talking about since Moi days, 80s, whatever, even longer than 70s for some of them, okay? Since then, when these guys have disputes, okay, where they don't agree politically or don't see eye to eye for whatever reason, because trust me, guys, as much as they are in this one group and they consolidate power to remain within that, social economic group that they belong to, they still have disputes even within. Okay, I'll give an example. Remember in 2007, even before that, we had the Uhuru faction and the Ruto faction, who later came together and rigged themselves into 2013 elections and became a president and deputy president, respectively. The two constituencies that these two represent, if we are to break it down to tribe, I mean the Kikuyus and the people of the Rift Valley, the Kalenjins, they didn't quite get along. Okay, we can argue that historically they always been together because of the fact that the founding fathers, not the founding fathers, but the first president of Kenya was a Kikuyu and the first vice president of Kenya was Kalenjin. So they had that working relationship. But of course, we know what happened in 2007 with the Kiamba stuff, the post-election violence, and these two communities were at odds. So, but again, after the ICC, what happened. These guys came together and rigged themselves in and became president and vice president. And the two communities kind of patched up that difference, and they are getting along so far, okay? There's tension between them, but still they get along for the most part, okay? But what I'm saying is this. Even within the last 10 years of Uhuru Ruto's rule, we saw some glimpses of difference, cracks within this relationship, symbiotic relationship between Ruto and Uhuru. I mean, we remember when Ruto would say in Kalenjin, in Nandi, or whatever the case is, the language he speaks, when he famously say that, Uhuru Kenyatta is basically a spoon-fed, spoiled brat, a profligate drunk who does not know how to run the government. He just drinks, and that's all he does. And I can even slap him. I mean, I'm just paraphrasing what he said in his Nandi language, native language. So it kind of showed us that Ruto did not really quite respect or see Uhuru Kenyatta as a real leader. He saw him as a spoilt brat, a child who was pin-fed, coming from being the son of the first president of Kenya, and given the wealth that he comes from. So he never really respected him. And conversely, you could also see, how Uhuru also kind of never really respected his vice president Ruto. You remember when he gave that side of the road speech where he said, "Huyu kijana," he referred to his vice president as "Huyu kijana anatembea tembea ki," you see what I'm saying? So these two kind of despised each other. But what kept them together was the fact that, they survived the ICC, and they understood that their whole shtick, their whole them being together is important, because if they disintegrate or openly feud, which later happened anyways, but if they escalate the tension between the two, it will spell doom for the two of them, for the two communities, the Kalenjin and the Kikuyus as a whole. So what I'm trying to say is that there's a supremacy battle even within the oligarchy, Kenya's oligarchy, okay? Now you can hear a lot of people say that Ruto, the reason why Ruto is stealing and doing all this stuff, you read the news today where there's reported Swiss bank accounts where Ruto has been, I don't know, banking in Swiss accounts in Switzerland, okay? That's not new because, even in Ruto's regime, Uhuru Kenyatta's regime, we know about the Pandora Papers. Was it Pandora? Yeah, Pandora Papers, where, we have these shell companies and all these funny companies and trust, this money by the Kenyattas that was stashed away from Kenya. So this is not new, but you can see that a lot of people are saying that Ruto is really, really looting Kenya, okay? Leeching of the public coffers. He's trying to be richer than the Kenyattas. That's what some people are saying. And you can see even when he came to power, when he became president, his first target was the Kenyattas. He was trying to, tell them, they need to pay more taxes or whatever the case is. He was targeting them, whatever the case is. So you can see, even though these guys come together, if they feel threatened, if they feel like there's an outside force, there's somebody, a politician who might be representing the real plight of majority of Kenyans, who might threaten the whole political bourgeoisie, their whole way of maintaining power. If they have somebody like that, they usually come together to make sure that they get rid of that person in ways that they know how, okay? Whether it's through violence or through just, smear campaign, whichever way. We can use Maraga when Maraga, stood up to Uhuru and was trying to, stop all this unconstitutional, arbitrary decisions that Uhuru Kenyatta was trying to make, and he will remind Uhuru Kenyatta that, hey, listen, there's a constitution in place, you cannot do this, you cannot do that. And we know how the amount of intimidation and bribes and all those evil skullduggery tactics that Uhuru used to intimidate Maraga up until Maraga had to not resign, but retired, okay, finish his tenure. The point I'm making is this. Could it be that all this political agitation that seems to be a genuine fight against the corrupt system seems to be on the surface level, seems to be a real noble cause to free the Kenyan people in order to have a nation of constitutionalism, and democracy. But in real sense, we are just being, it's a red herring for the real force behind this political movements such as Gen Zs and others. These are basically political movements that are used to usher in the real agenda by some section of the political oligarchy. Now, let me just get to the real example, okay? For example, Now I can hear there's a lot of tension between the uh, the the rich folks, what we call the Mount Kenya Mafia, okay? The leaders from Mount Kenya. Remember them? Those guys who went to Limuru 3 or Limuru 5 or whatever the case is. Uh, it is said that they're not comfortable with the Ruto's regime. They want him out, and they have their own candidate in place. Some of people are saying that Matiang'i might be the candidate. There is their candidate of choice. In fact, Matiang'i said he will be having a homecoming on the 9th of May, where none other than Uhuru Kenyatta will be in attendance along Gachagua, Kalonzo, and all these clowns, okay? So the rumors is that the Mount Kenya Mafia, the oligarchs that part of the Kenyan oligarchy, especially the ones from the section of Mount Kenya, you know, the rich folks there, the people, the movers and shakers of Mount Kenya, the business people, okay? They are not happy with Ruto's regime. They feel like for whatever reason, whether it's they feel like Ruto is running amok, and you know, just doing all sorts of things, destroying their businesses or whatever the case is. So it is said, okay, and this is alleged, I have no evidence, but it is said that they are the people who are most likely behind all this Gen Z movement. They are agitating, paying these young folks, or at least not paying them, but financing, you know, while these young folks are really out there in the streets and genuinely fighting for what seems noble and what every Kenya is fighting for, okay? A change of the system, a total overhaul of the system. But for these oligarchs are actually financing this whole movement with a different agenda. Maybe they just want this, they're using this Gen Z to take out Ruto, and after Ruto, they will install their own leader of their own choice, okay? See what I'm saying? Then we have the oligarchs who hail from the side of the lakeside, okay? The Orengos, with Raila Odinga at the helm, okay? These guys are majority of them, okay, let's use Raila Odinga, for example. He has most influence politically. He has the manpower, the social network that he enjoys from every majority of the places in Kenya. And that's why he's always used by the government of the day to legitimize their position as the head of the republic, okay, or the head of the state, okay? Because Ruto, basically, like I said in my previous submission, I said that Ruto is the president on paper, but as far as legitimacy, he lacks legitimacy because the people are not with him. So by bringing in Raila Odinga comes with a section of the country that kind of solidify or gives Ruto some semblance of legitimacy, where Ruto can point at Nyanza province and say, see, I have Raila Odinga and his people from Nyanza who are supporting me. See what I'm saying? So now we have that faction where they also, to them, they're not really the movers and shakers. The only significant person from Nyanza, Luo Nyanza, is Raila Odinga. Okay, the rest are majorly they are just, you know, Raila followers. But Raila plays his cards right. I'm not saying right in my eyes, I'm just saying right as far as his selfish, self-absorbed, narcissistic self, okay? He plays it by using this whole rivalries, oligarchical rivalry, to cash in on that, okay? He would go and meet Uhuru Kenyatta, okay? When Uhuru was in power, he forced Uhuru Kenyatta to, you know, bow down to his demands, okay? Pay me and I will support you. I'll kind of shut things down, okay? I'll you know, quiet everyone down. Same thing he did with Ruto, you know? Pay me if you really want to govern or remain president. Pay me, or else you know, it's a blackmail thing, or it's a what do you call it? It's a racket, okay? ODM is a racket. It's a racketeering, money laundering organization. It's a terrorist group, actually, in my view, right? So that's how Raila plays his politics, okay? He uses this, he understands the oligarchical rivalry within the tussle, the fight for supremacy within this oligarchical hallways, okay? The hallways, the corridors of power, and he takes advantage. If you listen to Raila Odinga when he was giving a speech in his AIDS funeral, he mentioned the importance of the CDF being released and Mashinani Pesa being released, because it is said that ODM sorry, are we on? All right, we're back. I was receiving calls, phone call, but anyway, that's why I want to make this short. But anyway, ODM makes his money by making their members pay the ODM party, okay? And that's why you see Raila was very keen on the idea of people paying up, or the government releasing money to for development to happen in the Mashinani, because that's how he kind of, what do you call it? What's the word I'm using? What's the word I'm using? Where when you make somebody, what's how the mafia used to go to these shops and say, hey, listen, in order for you to operate in this area, you have to pay us an amount. Extort. Yeah, that's the word I'm using. That's how Raila extorts members of ODM. If you want the ticket to run for MCA, MP, or whatever the case is, governor, yeah, no wonder you see a lot of ODM representatives, okay? MCAs or governors or MPs or senators, they have to kiss Raila's butts. You see the Kalomas, the Ogodas, the Opio and I, they have to keep on licking his butt crack in order to maintain their position, because these guys are getting extorted by Raila Odinga. I mean, Sakaja just, kind of told us that he has to pay 200 million per month to Raila Odinga in order for him not to be impeached as a governor of Nairobi. So you kind of get a glimpse of how these guys are. There's numerous stories, okay? Innumerable cases of people who are vying for a seat on an ODM ticket, and they explain how Raila Odinga will extort them, okay? The money is, you have to literally take cash in his house, in bond or whatever, or powder, whatever the case is, for them to maintain power. So anyway, when you're talking about the elites in Nyanza province, Raila is the main guy, but this guy, he's extorting everyone. He's extorting Ruto, he's extorting Kenyatta, and his business is thriving because, Ruto and Uhuru Kenyatta, they can never come out and say they're being extorted, because they lack legitimacy. They lack legitimacy, and they need Raila with his social network to kind of legitimize their unconstitutional rule or governance, okay, or position as the head of state. So that's how they play. Then there's the Kalenjin part of it, who have been tied with they kind of rose into prominence during Moi's regime, when Moi took over from Kenyatta 1, okay? That's when majority of them, Moi looked out for them, sent them to school, put people they were looting and they became billionaires, and they sent their kids to overseas to learn and all this stuff, okay? But these guys are also a factor now that they've been in. You see the Oscar Sudis who are, Oscar Sudi can barely spell his own name, okay? But you see now they're sending their kids in Norway and US and the United Kingdom to get some education, because these are the people who will come back 10 years later and vie for these positions and be part of this oligarchical group that's in Kenya that are ruling elites, okay, who are going to be movers and shakers of Kenya, okay? But what I'm trying to say in short is this, without going out without much fluff, is this. I think we have to be careful when we are seeking a change, okay? Even within these different movements, whether it's a political party or political movement or just political agitation in general, okay? Let's prod and see what kind of people are being involved in these movements, people who are trying to finance these movements, who are getting involved. What are their intentions? What do they want, okay? Because in the most cases, these guys are basically they show up trying, you know, I mean, I'll give you another example before I even finish. Today I'm all over, but I just got, karibu shi Mariam, usininyime like, nice seeing you. Kaur, sijamona, but what I'm trying to say is this. I saw a story of Gachagua, okay? Gachagua, she said, Gaito just put it in, posted in his Twitter page, X, that is. And he said that Wamunyoro Gachagua was supposed to go to Ramogi Radio to explain the circumstances surrounding Ogola's death, which, of course, we know the report came out last week, and the report is kind of, you know, not satisfactory. There's so many gaps, and, you know, it just doesn't make sense, okay? So Gachagua was about to go explain and expose, whatever the case is, but somebody made a call to cancel the whole radio thing, okay? Of course, what's his name, Macharia guy, who's a friend of Raila Odinga, is, it's okay, Mugende, go ahead and just like the video, the first order of business, you know what's up, nice seeing you, brother from Uganda. So Gachagua was supposed to go up there and give all his knowledge on this matter, this Ogola issue, of course, you know. Now, for somebody like me, I know majority of us some of us might be excited and say that they might be excited and, you know, be happy that Gachagua is out there. He's exposing the ills and the criminal activities within this Ruto regime. But again, you have to ask yourself, why did it, if he knew what he now knows now, the information that he's, thank you so much, Kakatende, the information that he's telling the public, okay, I think it puts him, legally, I think it puts him in a hard place. These inculpable statements that he gives to the public, they seem to be so out there, like they're astounding in so many ways. But the question I would ask myself as a thinking person, or somebody who doesn't just get excited over anything, is this: why is Gachagua telling us all these things after he was, to be fair, unconstitutionally impeached from, you know, Ruto's government? Why didn't he, okay, as most people say, resign at the time, then come out and say all these things, okay? Because if you look at the history of Gachagua, he's not really somebody who's pro-reform, you know, revolutionary. Okay, this guy is not. It's just that, you know, he's found himself in a bad side of Ruto, whatever the case is, and or whatever the games he's playing with Ruto. And I've explained that Gachagua is probably not Ruto's enemy. It's a game, but I'm just saying, for the sake of argument, why did Gachagua wait until now that he's revealing these things? And these things that he's saying, the claims that he's making in this public national national platforms, these are things that can actually land him in court. You know, if you say that the president was making a deal with a Russian oligarch, trying to sign a deal at the airport somewhere, these are things that actually you can be sued for and be held liable, personally liable for revealing such things. I'm not saying that he's violating any kind of espionage or secret government, you know, contracts or whatever the case is. I don't think that applies, but I'm just saying, for you to make such astounding accusations against the sitting president, you know, there can be consequences for that, but there's nothing like that. So what I'm trying to say is this: Gachagua is playing a part, you know, playing a part as someone who hails from the Mount Kenya region. And as I told you that even within the Kenya's oligarchy, they don't all get along. You know, there's a faction that comes from the mountain, there's a faction that comes from the lake, there's those who come from, you know, Rift Valley. So it plays out in public as regional conflict or political agitation with, you know, tribal undertones therein, okay? So that's what I'm saying. I'm saying these folks are all corrupt in not so many words, but they're tussling for power. Even as the political bourgeoisie, they're tussling for power, absolute power at the top, okay? Uhuru Kenyatta and his family want to maintain that power as the, you know, wao washikiliaji wa Kenya. Then there's Ruto, who's, you know, very ambitious and want to maintain this absolute power in Kenya, but he realizes that maybe Kenya iko na wenyewe, and that's how they, you know. And Raila Odinga, who understands all this, is also caught in the middle. Him representing the bourgeoisie elites hailing from the lakeside. He understands what's going on because he's been there longer than any of these guys. He understands the name of the game, and he doesn't care much about power, but he does cares about his stomach, so he will extort everybody, knowing that these guys are pretty much young and reckless and pretty much idiots, okay? So that's what I'm trying to explain. That's what I'm trying to say. Then we have the Kenyan public that is deeply divided because we are lapping up this this division that we see, this quarrels between the rich, and we are siding with them, thinking that we are actually doing Kenya a favor, you know. Like right now, for those of you who are going to vote for Matiang'i or think that 2027 election, the electoral process will produce a leader that will actually help Kenya. The reality is the game is rigged, and you're going to have the same face. Even if Ruto leaves, let's say for example, if Ruto loses in 2027, the alternative, if Matiang'i wins, it's not going to be any kind of meaningful change, okay? So anyway, guys, I will stop here. It's been 27 minutes. I didn't want to make it a long video. I just thought about that, and I just wanted to say that, you know, the disputes that are happening within the bourgeoisie, elites, political class, the oligarchy of Kenya, usually plays out in public as public agitation, political agitation, okay? And it's dressed up and packaged to lure us in unknowingly, thinking that, okay, we are out here, we are the Gen Zs, we are fighting for democracy, we are fighting for, you know, finance bill that is favorable to Kenyans, we are fighting for, you know, our constitution, we are fighting for law and order, but we end up actually playing into the hands of these political elites just because they have their own tussle up there. I'm talking about the proverbial stratosphere, the proverbial, not proverbial, but the social economic ladder. They're fighting up there. They're tussling for absolute power up there. But when they come down here to the people, they present their fight for total control as a fight for our rights, our fight for our constitution, our fight for economic freedom. That's how they dress it up in order to lure us in, to legitimize their evil plans and their evil rule, because we are not being governed, we are being ruled. Since these guys don't want to follow the constitution, it's no longer governance, it is rule. Kenya is a criminal organization. Nice seeing you guys. KR should come and vie for Mr. Amenya because Atuna pure candidate. Okay, I'll see that. No respect for the courts or Kenyans. Absolutely, Wanjiku, you're right. These people don't care about the courts. They don't care about Kenyans. They do whatever they want to do, okay? I see Political Kaur. Nice seeing you, Political Kaur. I missed your Dinio. Omugen also. Thank you so much. Yes. But anyway, guys, I wanted just to keep it short. It's been 30 minutes. Again, like I say, be patient with me. I'm about to, I will get my computer right. Once I get it fixed and all that stuff is whatever and put all the security features, I will be going live with you guys so I can bring in Wakina Omugendi and Shimeriam so I can see your faces again and we can debate live and have a discussion. not debate. We don't have to debate all the time. We can always have discussions and exchange views on how we can improve Kenya. You and Jiru sijui mmetorokea wapi? I think tuko nani tuko Shimaria matujatoroka. We are there. I don't know where. I can't speak for Njiru. Sijui Njiru wako wapi, but tuko. Face yangu hamuioni tena. Niliona siku ile zilikuwa inapendeza sana. Sasa mpaka urudi. Unajua ukipendeza sasa tutakuweka kwa TV. Watu wanapendeza, watu wanawekwa kwa TV sasa zote ndio mulete views. So Shimariam, wewe utakuwa kama co-host. Tutakuweka sura uonyeshe kabisa. Ujipodoe podo. Weke. Anyway. Shimariam, nice seeing you. I miss listening to your views. Unajua wewe ukuanga na siasa kali, so yes, tutakwambia urudi. Jiru pia ametoroka live ama Subaru is behind you. Jiru ati Subaru Jiru wako sawa. Jiru I don't know. I have no communication. Sina communication na Jiru. I don't know. I don't have his number. I don't know where he is. So ako sawa. I think utamuona hivi karibuni. Maybe alichukua break kidogo. Ama maybe sidhani kama Subaru ilimfikia. I think ako pahali ambao Subaru haiwezi mfikia. But I think Jiru ako sawa. Utamuona some ninio. Even though sijakuwa huko kwa muda mrefu, but I think he's okay. So yeah, but anyway guys, do me a favor guys, just hit the like button if you're going to watch this on repeat. Like, share, subscribe and do all the good stuff, and I will see you guys later. Tutarudi live, usijali, tunachukua tu break kidogo, tutakuja live na tutaingiza watu, because I really want to hear what people are saying with what's going on, especially with the funeral that happened in was it in Opoda, whatever the case, where huyo jamaa Aida wa Dani Ruto alimpatia Sifuna onyo, akamwambia Sifuna, unasikia wewe usikuja hapa na kimbelembele, sisi ndio tulianza hii ODM, na ukinisukuma sana nitaita original name members na tutakudiscipline. You know, that was Ruto pia, he has his ways of words, you know, to make, you know, but he's yeah, whatever. But anyway, thank you guys. Like, share, subscribe, do all the good stuff. I'll see you guys later. Peace and blessings. Tuonane. Bye. I'm out.